So I've got 3 propagation boxes on the go. I've got various things in them. So just wanted to show you guys what I've got cooking in there. I've got a few projects on the go. So let's go and have a look. So what have I got in here? I've got this Monstera deliciosa little nub. I cut off the mother plant, and as an experiment, I wanted to check whether this little nub could develop roots and put on new growth, even if there's no leaves on it. And quite interestingly, it's developed this root here, and there's a new growth node developing from there. So that'll develop onto a nice new plant by the looks of things. So also in here, I've got some Monstera adansonii. I've had these in here probably 3 or 4 weeks. I'm just cooking up a video on how to propagate these. And as you can see, it's just starting to put out new growth, new roots. So this is working for that. So I'll put that one back as well. Let that develop roots some more. Let's just check on another one of these just to see how they're doing as a comparison. Yeah, this one's looking good. Slightly bigger roots on this one. So these are propagating nicely. Things do tend to propagate very nicely in my propagation boxes. They do seem to like perlite to develop roots. Also in here, I've got a jade plant cutting I've had in here a few weeks. So this is another video that I'm cooking up. I can't see any roots on here at the moment. Not rotting away or anything, so that's good. So a bit more time needed for that one. Let's just check the leaves. So the leaves are developing roots, which is quite unusual. They're developing roots quicker than the stem piece. So at least this is propagating nicely. It's much slower to grow a jade plant through leaf cutting, I find. It takes absolutely ages, but if you're in no rush, it's quite a nice project. Another one in there, might as well check that as well. Got some roots on there, dangling away. I'll put that back. So one annoying thing about this propagation box is that it's quite small, it's quite cramped in here. So you'll see later in my other propagation box, I've got a bigger one. So there's a bit more room to maneuver things. So this is a Ficus elastica ataneki. I did propagate these last year for the first time, and they developed roots very nicely. Developed into a nice new plant. Can I see any roots come in? Maybe just the very, very beginnings of some roots just in there. Looks like there's some white coming through. From last year, from what I remember, it did take quite a long time for the roots to start. And then once they did, it did grow quite quickly from there. Just a slow starter, I think. I've got 3 of those in here, so I might as well check them all, see if there's any action on these. Nope, nothing there so far. Put this back. Nothing happening on that one. So tucked in the back, just behind my ficus, is a Hoya Lisa. This has been in a few weeks as well. There's another video I'm cooking up, how to propagate this plant. But as yet, very slow to roots. I think it's been in about 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks. No roots on that yet. And then these ones on the left, bit of an interesting project I've got cooking up. I'm propagating these enjoys in 3 different methods, doing it in this perlite, doing it in water and soil. I'm just seeing which is the quickest to get roots. So the water ones are starting to root. Are these starting to root? Yeah, it looks like they are. Maybe slightly further along as well. There's 2 new points there. So a little bit of an interesting experiment I'm doing for a future video, just to kind of give an indication of which method of propagating develops roots the quickest and which is the most successful as well. Doesn't look like there's much going on in that one. There's a bit of resistance on this one, so carefully pull it out. So it looks like the aerial root has pushed on. That's the aerial root. So that's developing into a root on its own. And also we can see in there's a new growth point developing. So that's good. These look to be propagating successfully. I've had these in about 4 or 5 weeks again, so they are a bit slower than I thought they would be. This one's got another growth point developing on there. So it's developing growth points before it's developing roots, which is interesting. Okay, so box number 2, there's not too much in here to be fair. There's just my Devil's Ivy here and my Peperomia obtusifolia. I've got a video on propagating that. But let's have a look at my Devil's Ivy to begin with. That's nice. Got some nice healthy roots on there, or one main root I guess. So you want really a good 2 or 3 inches of roots in here before potting it up into soil, just to allow them to continue to grow in their pots when you pot them up. This one here, again, healthy roots developing, so this looks like a successful propagation. So this will be a future video on what I did, how to propagate these. Check that one. Yeah, so it looks like they've all got the same level of roots. So my Devil Ivies are doing okay. Let's just check on my obtusifolias. So the main stem was this guy. Dust off some of this perlite so we can see a bit better. So that's rooting very well. There's one higher up there, which is good. It's a strong root development. So I'll let that grow on for another couple of weeks until the roots get to a couple of inches long, and I'll pot them up. So let's just check the leaves as well. Looks like there's some roots on this. Healthy roots it looks like. And on that one, a little bit longer. Successfully propagated obtusifolia, which is always nice because it's a really nice plant. It's always good to have more of these. So I will just top it up with some spray. It did feel a little bit dry in there. So that's box number 2. Let's have a look at box number 3. So as you can see, this is a much bigger box, much easier for me to handle. Get in there and check on the roots of my plants. So I've just got one propagation here at the moment. It's a fairly new setup that I've got here. So in this one, this is again a video that'll be coming out when these have developed roots. My Philodendron Brasil propagating in perlite. So let's have a look. When you're pulling out a leaf with stem that you're propagating, you don't want to yank it out because otherwise you might damage the roots, and the roots might break off in the perlite. So you just want to be pulling them out carefully and just checking on them. Don't see much happening on that one. Get rid of that actually. But there's nothing on there. So how long have I had these in? I've had these in about 3 or 4 weeks, I think. They are slow at developing roots. I'm sure they will come at some point. There's none on that one, there's none on that one, and there's none on that one. Must just be too early for these plants. But I'm a patient man, I'll just let it do its thing. I'm in no rush. Right, so that is them put back. Okay, so those are my propagations I've got going on at the moment. Do watch out for future videos when these have successfully propagated. I'll put those on the channel, so subscribe if you're new, if you want to be notified when that comes out. Thanks for watching, I'll see you again soon.